real name, so you guys can call me Andy. And hi! So, today I am yet again lying down in my bed. There are two mini dolls saying hi to you all. Hi. Anyway, so, today I'm going to be making a video about daydreaming. So, how many of you have ever daydreamed? If you daydream, tell me what you daydream about in the comments. And I don't have subscribers, and I just realized that no one's gonna comment. So, daydreaming. I daydream about fictional characters. I have never daydreamed about a crush that I have, because I feel like that inhumanizes them, kind of. So I daydream about fictional characters, and my daydreaming process is huge. I have an actual process. I can give you the steps. So number 1, deciding which character I want, like deciding my character. So how about I give you the latest one I've been working on. So Once Upon a Time. That is my favorite TV show in the entire universe, and I've decided that I want to make a daydream about it. So the first thing I do is decide my character's backstory and why my character is important to the real thing. Because I'm not just going to daydream like, oh, I stumble across a random town and... Oh, by the way, there's going to be a lot of spoilers for Once Upon a Time, so if you want to watch it, don't watch this video. If you haven't seen it, then it won't, like, affect this video, really. So, yeah. So, number 1, I decide my character's backstory. So, in this case, my favorite character is Henry Mills. So, I'll be like, okay, so I want my character to be Henry Mills' best friend. So, now I need to figure out how I'm going to do that. So, then I come up with a backstory, like, oh, I was in the Enchanted Forest, and I'm important because the evil queen killed my sister, or something like that. That's not the story I made up, but my story that I made up is very weird and long, so that's like an entire separate video, or maybe a fanfiction that I should write. I'll think about it. So, number 2, I decide which fictional characters in that universe I will have already known. So, like Henry, if I want to have been his best friend, I'll decide, oh, I've known him since, like, elementary school, and the reason that I never came up in the show was because he doesn't want me to get in trouble, or I don't want to be killed, or something like that. And, so, to step, like, 2.5 is decide why you didn't actually show up in the universe. So step 2, like, who I want to have known. The thing is that you don't want to know all the characters already, because then there's no story in your daydream, and you want a story in your daydream. It's very interesting and stuff. So yeah. Third step is to place yourself into the story so that the things that happened in the show or the book or the movie that you didn't like the ending. If you don't like the ending of something, then you pretend like you changed that ending. Or B, if, like, right now, Once Upon a Time is in the middle of a season. And the thing is that Once Upon a Time, it's going to go on for a long time. And I want my character and my daydream to not be affected by the actual story arc. So what I do is that I'll, like, pretend like this is after all the problems in their little town have been solved. So that's what I do. So fourth step, final step, is decide how you want to be put into how you want to be put into the story. So it'll be like, oh, And basically it's how you meet the characters you haven't met. So for my Once Upon a Time example, it would probably be like, oh, Henry and I were hanging out in his room and then his parents came home unexpectedly or something. Or it'll be like, oh wow, that sounded so inappropriate. Innuendo alert. Another thing that could happen is that I'm magical, and then this would be part of step 1, deciding my character's backstory, but like in my actual fantasy, I'm magical. I'm just that amazing. But anyway, so if like I'm magical, I accidentally cast a spell that like does something and has some bad effect or some good effect or something like that. So you decide how you want to be entered into the story. Then you kind of just let it drift with you, and like you kind of just go with it, and you kind of like, if you're making a daydream about it, you probably know the characters very well, so that you'll probably be able to know what the characters would say in that certain situation, and which characters would talk, which ones would just stand there and look at me horrified, you know. And yeah. So now, outside the process, some things about daydreaming. Number 1, try not to think from anyone else's point of view. This is something that I do a lot. Like, not like someone in real life. I mean, like, in the fantasy, I'll, like, be like, oh, like, I'm hanging out with Henry, and Emma and Regina know about it, or something. No, you don't want to think like that. You want to be like, oh, I am me. I am in the story. This is, like, the story. It's first person, not, like, third person or something. So I wouldn't know that. Like, just try to avoid the things that you would not know. Number 2, it's super distracting from real life. This, you have no idea. You have absolutely no idea. So in real life, I will be taking a test. And this always happens when I'm taking a test. And my mind will be like, oh, math word problem? Duh. Or once, or one. Once upon a time. And my mind will kind of drift off. And I'll just be like, wait, oh my god, 2 minutes left in period, and I am still on problem 3 out of 17. So try not to do that. Now, third thing, the line between reality and this fantasy world that you've created doesn't exist anymore. So now I'm going to use a different example. So Divergent. I read Divergent and I didn't like the ending. I'm not going to give spoilers, but I just didn't like it. So in my brain, I changed the ending and I became really close friends with the characters in my brain. And the thing is that in real life, I had convinced myself that this had actually happened. And I know I sound absolutely insane right now, but if you do something like this, if you create a fantasy and you are in that fantasy a lot, then you kind of feel like it's a real fantasy. Like, it's like real life to you. So I would do this thing where I would visit them. So my real life was real, but so were they. So I would like pretend to visit them when I was like free. I would just lay in bed and visit them. And I would actually, like, I knew that they weren't real, but it felt like they were so much that I kind of convinced myself that they were. And sometimes they'd visit me, and the reason nobody else could see it was because, I don't know, I just figured that nobody else could see it. And a fourth thing about daydreams is that not everything has to be logical. I always think, oh, but how would this happen? Or like if I created a Harry Potter fantasy and I wanted to go to Hogwarts, but I wanted to be in the same year, but I also wanted to still be 14. Like, my mind would be like, oh, but they are 17 or 18, and I'd just be like, nope, 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 nope. I'm just not gonna think about it. I just try not to think about the things that don't make sense, and you'll kind of just end up being fine. Okay, so, and then I think there's a fifth thing. There's probably a fifth thing, 5. I've forgotten. I have the worst memory in the history of the world. Yeah, I'll like put in the description if I figure it out. By the way, just side note, this has nothing to do with this video. I don't edit my videos. Well, A, because I'm bad at editing, and B, because I want them to be real. And I made this channel so I could just talk to a camera and talk to people who, and maybe people could talk to me, people who have similar interests. So that's my plan. Yeah, I don't really want to actually I don't want to actually put in, this isn't work for me. This is just a hobby, a side hobby, and I'm not very good at it, and I just want to do it for fun, and I don't want to think about it. It's just a thing that I want to do that no one can stop me from doing because no one knows about it. So, yeah. Love, live life, and bye.